Welcome to the SuperPhone Standard podcast. Today, I am joined by artist and entrepreneur Xavier Keyz. He is an avid, as well as a longtime supporter and user of SuperPhone. I'm Rob Berberian, and today I'll be speaking with Xavier to learn a little bit more on how he's been leveraging SMS as an artist to really build a loyal audience. Xavier, great to have you.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It's real cool
So
that they have a podcast. I didn't know.
yeah,
What's up?
we're
Yeah.
definitely getting started here. So really to kick things off, would you mind sharing a little bit more about your background? How did you get into music and how did you use that to pivot into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, definitely. I'm born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, and I've been doing music since professionally since the age of 9. I got started at a very young age. I've always been an avid supporter and big fan of Usher, and watching him when I was younger, growing up, just performing on stage, just doing dance moves in the mirror, pretending like I was him. It was just something that I just gravitated to heavily. And from there, I went to a school here called the Choir Academy of the Chicago Children's Choir. And then from there, like that school was all about music and the music and arts and entertainment. And from there, I really discovered my gift in music and knowing how to play the piano by ear and singing. And even when I was 2 years old, I was humming Faith Evans as soon as I get home, and my family was super impressed by that, how I can keep a tune. And from there, from seventh and eighth grade at the choir academy, um, I went to Kenwood Academy and graduated from there. And man, like I started my own music group there. It was 6 of us, and that school was really focused on college enrichment and everything, but it also had a heavy background in music, and that's one of the things I really appreciate about that school. And from there, they had boys and girls chorus, and then they had this choir called concert choir. And if you got in concert choir, that was a big thing. So I was able to get in concert choir, and from there start my own music group. Well, it was 6 of us. Long story short, it broke down to just 2 of us, and from there, we made our album called Another Level. It's like my first album.
Nice.
I'm just thinking about it. It was okay. It was decent, but that was really the background and getting started with that. And from there, entrepreneurship was born, and we did a countdown with WGCI here in Chicago with Juice Dora. I think her song was out called Juke It, and our song was called Up and Down. And we had 24 hours to knock her out the number 1 spot. So I was just like, look, we're gonna promote like crazy. Like, we're not gonna go to sleep. I told my partner, I was like, we're gonna promote like crazy. We're not going to sleep. So I stayed up
Yep.
all night inboxing people 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. And that's how the Wire Formula masterclass got born, using the strategies and how I was able to talk to people, seeing their behaviors and the psychological responses to certain words when I would use, how they would respond versus it being a thing where it was like, this is spam. You know how you get inboxes,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, check out my music, but it's like, who are you? Like, you gotta lay the foundation. So that's what we did, and we was able to knock her out the number 1 spot 24 hours later. And like I said, that's where the whole master class comes into play from that. And, just really having that entrepreneurship spirit on me, just being able to write songs, produce, being like a leader in the group and everything, taking the accountability to make sure that, we was dressed appropriately and we had transportation to the shows, all kinds of stuff. So, I really feel like those younger days really helped to create the Xavier Keyz now as the entrepreneur and the artist that you see.
Absolutely, man. So the fact that you've
Yeah.
always had the hustle in you and you use that from being an artist to really expanding into building a relationship with your audience and really just
Mhm.
leveling up from there. You're using a lot of one-on-one phone calls right now with your campaign
Mhm.
on Superphone.
Yeah.
And you're promoting one of the hashtags as that's how you know it's real. So what made you really
Mhm.
start going down that route and how did that really impact your relationship with your fans?
Yeah. That's how you know it's real came from just a conversation randomly. Um, just talking with Rose, and she works with me closely with my music career. And we was just talking on in Daytona, and she just was like, "Yeah, that's how you know it's real." Because I was like, I'm trying to think of something to really differentiate and separate myself from everything that is out right now. Because being a part of Superphone, since the early years, it was like in, I don't know, maybe 2014, I believe. And
Wow, that's
watching everybody, yeah, watching everybody, grow and catch up to the idea and concept of one-to-one engagement through phone. I was like, okay, everybody's doing this now, with the competitors. And I'm like, how can I differentiate that? So I was like, if I could talk to Usher and have a one-on-one conversation with Usher, man, that would be something that is like, man, that's crazy. So I was like, you know what? Let me do that for my fans because I have like hardcore fans that are like, yo, like, can I talk to you? And the responses that I've got from that is that it's so much more personal than a one-to-one like a meet and greet, because a meet and greets at concerts, like, hey, you take a picture, you talk with them for like, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes, maybe, and
yeah,
then security come push you out the way. Like you really don't get that time to really talk to the artist and uh and really speak with them. And I honestly feel like it was a God-given idea because it's so it's so different. And I feel like a lot of artists, and even with Ryan's teachings, he said, if uh, you want to show your fans that you care about them, you have to give them an experience. And I feel like that's a different kind of experience, to be able to call and have that access. So, to make it, you know, easy on my schedule because it changes from time to time. I just do it on Saturdays. I do. I mirrored the whole thing with Ryan, 30 calls, and I do 30 calls and with fans, and they're 10 minutes each, and they have to schedule it though. And once they schedule it, I got on the back end with the integrations, and I'm sure we'll talk about integrations with Calendly. I pre-wrote, just email confirmations and different things like that, thank yous and stuff like that. And with the hashtag, that's how you know it's real. That will really separate the Xavier Keyz, the X Keys brand from, I think, a lot of the other, not artists, I would say, but the other brands that are doing things like this because it's actually a voice connected to the brand now instead of it just being through text. And I think that will accelerate I believe and I know that it will accelerate the relationship between the fan and the artist.
yeah. And
Mhm.
do you really promote office hours or anything of such for people to reach you, or do you have your fans reaching out to you at any time during the day? Do people just
Mhm.
send you random texts just to know if it's really you or not? How has that been when
Yeah.
it comes to the feedback that you've been getting from your fans?
Yeah, I let them text me anytime. I have my phone on. It's a thing. I think it's do not disturb in Superphone where they can't actually call you. They could call, but it'll just go like to a voicemail. But excuse me, they can reach me anytime, and I text back, throughout the day when I have like down moments and stuff. But the main thing I really try to steer people to do is just if they want to have that one-on-one with me is to schedule those calls. And then even after the calls, this is the thing that I'm doing. I'm having fans use that hashtag to make video testimonials,
Mm,
to share their experience of how was the phone call, hey, was this actually me? So that when people see this hashtag and it continues to grow, they'll be able to click and see the history that this is something that, hey, this artist actually cares about his fans and here's proof of it. And that's where the whole thing of that's how you know it's real came from.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So now when it comes to monetizing, right? Being an artist,
Mhm.
whether uh, independent or if someone is up and coming, outside of the traditional means of streaming or album sales, what ways have you creatively been able to bring in additional revenue, streams of income just by using Super? Have there been any
Yeah.
offers? Have there been uh, in-person meet and greets or anything like that that you've been promoting independently to really just captivate that experience from people, but also for people to feel as though they're still getting value from being on your contact list?
Yeah. I've done meet and greets. That's one thing I'm really big on. That's doing meet and greets before or after my shows. So like I'll invite fans to come out to have like dinner with me before or after the show, just to have that personal time with them. And they can buy a ticket. I have that integrated through Shopify, with Superphone. So when there is a transaction made, it's an automatic text that goes to them with the confirmation, emails, all that stuff. And also I birthed also it's a new brand. It's called X Nation. So it's like giving all the fans behind the scenes access to stuff that you don't see me posting on social media. So, like the studio sessions and allow them to have creative input in the decision makings of the records. And I think that's something that, people can be like, yo, I was a part of that record. I helped him, and they can feel more connected.
I like that
So
idea.
X Nation, yeah, X Nation, that is a subscription based um, platform, and that's ran through Stripe,
Mhm.
integrated with Superphone. So that's a way to do it. I also did during the pandemic. I had my virtual show, and I recorded it in October of, I think it was right before the pandemic got real heavy. Um, at that time, Chance the Rapper and I was talking, and I had a conversation with him. He was like, "Man, just go for it. Just do your virtual show. Just do it, bro." Because I was filming his virtual show, and I was so inspired by it. I was like, "Man, this is great. Like, I need to do something like this." So we did it, and then I created one-off shirts, merchandise, and um, I'll actually send you all some images of it so you can, if you want to, put pictures and stuff up of them.
Yeah.
Just have people send in their photos of them with the shirts and stuff. So that was a way to generate revenue during the pandemic, and of course, the snapback hats and different things like that. They were able to order. All this is ran through Shopify, and yeah, it's so many ways to really generate revenue. It's just about being creative and being different and evolving with the current uh, just infrastructures of everything that's out right now and taking advantage of it.
No, that's great, man. I mean, you've been
Hmm.
very creative in terms of how to provide value, give an experience, but also make it worthwhile for your
Hmm.
fans. And the fact that you were forward thinking as well during the pandemic, that was important because everyone needed entertainment during that time. So I can definitely
Yeah.
understand. Okay,
Yeah.
so now when it comes to using your superphone at the moment, as you already know, it is very versatile and there's so many ways you can go about using it, regardless of whether you're a coach, a creator, an artist, retail business, an e-commerce business. Do you use Superphone mainly for driving revenue? Do you use it more so for engagement, or would you say it's a combination of both?
I believe it's a combination of both. And even right now, it's just really, it's a feature that I love. It's never lose touch. So
Yep.
with the fans and people that have purchased stuff from me, I have that feature activated, so I just never lose touch with them, even if a record doesn't come out for a while. It's like I'm still checking up on them, keeping that relationship and that as Ryan would say, the current, and so the currency can
Yep.
continue to flow back and forth. And um, I use it just for both. Um, right now, I would say it's just more so for fan engagement, creating the relationships with them. And for new people that come in, they can be caught up with everything that I've done so far. So, if you're late to everything, to the party, uh, you can set up uh, drip campaigns. There you go. Yeah, you can set up drip campaigns and everything that. you've released as an artist, if you are an artist watching this, and you have a lot of albums or music videos out, you can schedule certain messages to go out at certain times to catch your fans up to where you are now. So I went all the way back to 2015, got music videos, different things like that, and just, hey, check this out, at different times throughout, when they have put themselves in my phone. So yeah, it's just specific tags. It's a lot to Superphone, but once you get the hang of it, it's game changing.
Which this is a great segue. Now, did you learn this yourself? Did you utilize the team? How did you go about first learning the ins and outs of Superphone and then tying that into, okay, this is what I do, this is what I'm looking to do as an artist, this is how I can expand. Now, how do I fill out and set up the automations and all this stuff in between? So would you say you're more so
Mhm.
self-taught? Have you been able to just kind of figure it out from online articles? Have you connected with the team? Heard what other artists are doing? How did you really tie in all that information and get that set up within your super?
Yeah, self-taught, really. And I would say the help of Flo. I gotta shout him out. Appreciate him.
Shout out to
Because
Flo. Yep.
a lot of times, like, there'll be like things where I wouldn't personally understand, especially coding. Like that's something that I'm like, look, I hit Flo up in the instant, like, can you help me with this? But majority of the things like, never lose touch, the the drip campaigns, the links, so you can personalize your links so that it represents your brand, stuff like that. That those type of things, I just with trial and error. And right now I'm still testing out as far as the frequency of communication between myself and the fans when they first add themselves into my phone. And I've been getting feedback and more responses from people when I stretch them out over a long period of time. I'm out of touch, but I'm not out of touch. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's repetitive and it's robotic. And that's the thing that I've really been studying and just seeing the responses of people to understand their behaviors with things stretched out a little bit further.
Yeah,
But
because it adds
like,
more of
oh,
a
you didn't forget
human.
about me. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it adds more of a human
yeah,
element to it. We all get carried away, we get
hmm
busy, we get sidetracked. So
yeah,
not having it be a strict schedule, but more so having some, you know, gaps or little delays in terms of when you follow up makes it a little bit
hmm
more uh, human-like. But then
yeah,
also you're covering what you need on your end as well. That you're staying in touch with your fans. You're using Never Lose Touch, which is a great feature that often gets overlooked. So you're
hmm
using that to really make sure that you're on top of communication with your fans. Now, when it
yeah.
comes to using a text widget, as I know you have that set up on your website, what made you
hmm
decide to do that? Was that just something you were trying to figure out? Okay, how can I get more contacts? How do I get access to more information from my fans so I can build a better relationship with them? Did you just figure out, you know what, since I have a website, let me go ahead and set up a text widget? What was your thought process behind it?
Honestly, seeing Ryan
Got
and
it.
seeing
Okay.
how he did everything, and I was just like, for people to just input their number and have a message sent is way more easier than them memorizing my number or writing it down. They can just put theirs in and be like, look, the system, I'll just text you and you can add yourself in. I think it's just a way to streamline everything with a faster process of communication between myself and the fans and whoever it is.
Yeah. So, okay. Now, let's just say, for example, you have an event, you have a tour, you have something approaching where you really want to figure out which one of your fans are in certain cities that you have a performance at. Have you looked into using the geo targeting? Have you filtered your contact lists to reach out to those in this particular city, particular state,
Mhm.
country for that matter?
Yes, I have,
Okay.
and especially when I did shows in Atlanta. So I used the geotag, and what was it? I don't know, maybe 60 miles out from Atlanta. You could set it to, and
Mm.
had the system text people that were in a 60-mile radius. just because Atlanta traffic is terrible. And yeah, and have them, to come out and they was able to come to the show and enjoy the show. Some people bought, hats, merch, different things, and some people also bought the VIP experience to be able to have a meet and greet and a dinner with me. So it's all kinds of things you can do. I would best say if you can have that meet and greet in that one on one, but when it's when you know that you're going to be in a specific city, give them an advance notice. Don't do it like 2 days before, one day before,
Right.
because
Yeah,
people,
people got to
they,
prepare
they
for
got jobs. Yeah, they got, yeah, all that. And you also want to give them time to bring other people with them to your show. So that's more revenue in your pocket for you.
it.
That's more merch, more hats, more shirts sold. And you can even include that, hey, make sure you bring somebody with you, to just better the experience, to gain even more fans. That person could, you know, bring you five people. That's five extra people to your
That's
show, five extra hats, merch, different things like that. So you just got to really think about it in that entrepreneurship mindset. And it's not impossible to do. That's one of the things I if it's a key takeaway, that it's not impossible to do.
Yeah, and I would also say, in addition to that too, which I'm sure you've already experienced, is
Hmm.
a lot of times people will not necessarily know the best way to go about it. And let's just say, for example, you're a new artist, you're new to Superphone, and you're looking to really utilize all the features. There's so many avenues and there's so many things that you can do, but how do you simplify it to just really just figure out, okay, if you yourself were experiencing this for your favorite artist, how would you like to be treated on the other end, right? Would you want someone,
Hmm.
if let's say your favorite artist has a phone number and they're promoting it, how would you want your interaction with that person to be? Whether that is the case or not the case, someone can use that type of experience and those questions to themselves and put that into the funnel in Superphone to really just
Right.
build that experience. And a lot of times too, it's trial and error, like you've mentioned.
Hmm.
Sometimes you'll get feedback for certain things, other times you won't. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it may not be, and really just tailoring the experience so that way you make it as smooth as possible. Now,
Definitely. And then
yeah.
if I can add one more thing, if you're an artist or whoever using Superphone, if you can do surveys through Typeform, that's a great way to get inspiration for new ideas, feedback from your fan base and your customers to really experience what it is that they are looking for and wanting from you. And if you can look at all of that data and really get an idea. So now you know what it is that you are targeting to put out and to give them an experience with. So I just wanted to add that type form
Yeah,
into
yeah. And I
it.
would
Yeah.
say this is also great for the next question. You're using a lot of integrations. You're using multiple softwares, Calendly, Typeform. Sometimes you're creating a separate link and you're adding that within the text. Are you using Zapier or any other integrations outside of
Yeah.
Shopify or Calendly?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Now, what integrations are you currently using with how you have your Superphone set up at the moment?
So Zapier is connected to Gumroad for my album sales.
Mm,
Zapier, I'm trying to think. I don't have my computer. It crashed.
all good.
Okay.
Whatever comes to mind.
I know Shopify is connected as well.
Mhm.
Calendly, Stripe, and I'm waiting on the newest one that just came in with the AI to test that out and see what is that exactly? What is this
Yep.
AI thing? So I can create data and come back to you all with feedback and hey, this works and this doesn't. So
Gotcha.
I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, Shopify, Zapier, with Zapier.
So would you say you would use Shopify? Is that more so for tracking revenue, or you're also using Stripe when you're selling, let's just say, tickets or any events or anything like that? How would you segment what you're using? Calendly, of course, would be for people to schedule 10, 15-minute calls with you on the weekends. Shopify if you're selling any merch, any physical products? And then how would you use Stripe with Superphone? Is that more so just to track the revenue of anyone who's purchasing, whether any tickets or sales or products or anything?
Yeah, I'm sorry. And Shopify is actually through Superphone. It's in the back end through the already
So the direct integration.
pre-coded, yes,
Yeah.
pre-coded stuff. So, but Stripe is used to one because I have a specific tag that is set up with the fans who are Stripe. Uh, I wouldn't say subscribers, but X Nation subscribers using Stripe, and they're tagged so I can know how to like not to geotag, but to reach them. And when they are a paying customer inside of Stripe, they get tagged that specific tag, and there is maybe like one or two automation text that goes out about X Nation, just checking with them, seeing how they're enjoying, all the episodes and different things like that. But with the integration, it allows me to have those automatic tags to be put on the context so that I can separate and differentiate who's who in my phone so that I'm not texting, an unsubscribed person an episode that shouldn't have
Right.
gotten it and now they're watching it. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it really
You
helps
got to
with the
stay
tags.
organized in that,
That's
man.
something. Yeah,
Okay, great. Yeah, so definitely seems like you know what you're doing with the automations, with the integrations, and with Superphone, given that you've been with us for a while. Now you also
yeah.
teach others how to use SMS. How has that been going for you? What advice would you give for someone who's new to text marketing or SMS? How would they go about using that for their business, whether they're an artist or a coach or a creator, or regardless of whatever uh, expertise therein, how would you go about giving advice for just anyone new to SMS?
Definitely. I teach a class, it's called the Wire Formula. And as discussed earlier, the whole concept behind the Wire Formula is to empower the artist with the skills and the ability to reach their audience and without the audience feeling like it's a spam text or anything spam related.
Mhm.
Because I've gotten a lot of messages and different things from artists, and I'm like, if you only knew just how to approach people in their inboxes, I think you would be able to really scale. So with trial and error, the Wire Formula was born, and I've gotten a lot of students' results. The testimonials are available on YouTube to watch and see. And it's a 5-week masterclass. Once a week, we meet for an hour. The last 15 minutes is question and answer. And I really help artists to find out, who's their target audience and how to engage them on a week by week case. In some cases, you can gather a person's phone number within 5, 10 minutes of just promoting your song in their inbox. And I have screenshots to show and to prove that of my own. And just being able to see other people's results from that is it's one of the most gratifying feelings ever, to be able to help others. And just for new people that's coming into the SMS game and marketing, as you see, there is a lot of this stuff happening. And I believe like if you want to be different, understand the power of SMS texting and understand that it is a tool not to be abused, but to be utilized respectfully, because that's one of the most powerful social media handles that you can have, because it probably and almost doesn't never change. And to be revoked that access because of you spamming or doing anything wrong, it will behoove you to do that. So with the masterclass, it teaches you how to do that. And then, at the end of the fifth week, I help them set up all of their automations inside of Superphone, because they're all new, and it can be overwhelming, to see all of these new features, especially with all of the rollouts and stuff that's coming. To have somebody take your hand one to one, walk you through it, set it up in your language, I think is very beneficial because your audience knows you, and they can tell when it's not you, if it's through text. And
Yep.
so to
Yep.
set it up in your language and walk you through that, that's the thing that you want to do. Even if it is automated, make sure it is you. You can do pre-recorded videos. I can show you how to do that, all those different things, and just make it as humanized as possible. And that's my ultimate goal, is even for myself, still working on that, to make it as humanized as possible.
Yeah. And I would say, a lot of people get overwhelmed by the idea of it, but the fact
Mhm.
that you're teaching others how to really just break down how to use it and really just be intentional about how they want to use SMS is
Mhm.
big within itself, because a lot of people want to utilize it, but they just feel a little bit stuck or overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. They don't um, understand the setups or the tech setups and things like that, knowing that there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of support available for people to really be able to build. So I love that you got that
Mhm.
going. I definitely think that it's great. And really, with that being said, Xavier, it's been great to have you here. Thank you again for taking the time to join us. For those who are new to you, they want to learn a little bit more about you, what you do, want to join any of the programs and courses, or anything that you really have going for yourself, how can they reach you? Do you have an Instagram? Do you have any social handles that you want to go ahead and share here?
Yeah, definitely. You can reach me at Keyz Official. That's KeyzOfficial. That's on Twitter and Instagram. But you can also, you'll see like in my bio, it'll have my widget address, and it's textxavierkeys.com, and you can just leave your number there and just shoot me a text exactly what it is that you're trying to do. If you're a fan or if you're artist trying to learn how to scale and do things at another level, or if you want to join a master class, or you just want to connect in general and just ask me questions, I'm an open book. I'm an open book. So textxavierkeys.com honestly is the best way. But
Okay.
yeah, Twitter, social media, all those different things, I'm everywhere.
There you go. Well, that concludes episode 2 of the SuperPhone Standard podcast. Once again, I'm Rob from SuperPhone. Xavier, thank you again, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.